recreation ground, it was called with no apparent irony. There was a patch of concrete where some lost civilization had once built an adventure playground, brimming with swings and slides and seesaws and all manner of wonders. But that was all long gone, destroyed by vandals and health and safety officers. And now the recreation ground was just a place to boot your ball, or take your dog for a dump, or get your head kicked in after dark. 3 and in, I said, balancing the football on my forehead, feeling some flakes of dried mud fall away. Pat was sitting on the grass, lacing his Predator boots. Just take shots at me, he said. We took off our tracksuit tops, threw them down for goalposts, and I smiled as Pat went through some stretching exercises. He was tall for his age, all long-limbed awkwardness, and he always seemed surprised at how far and how fast he has grown. But he looked like what he wanted to be. He looked like a goalkeeper. And I really thought he would make the school team this year, but I knew better than to mention it. Some things are too big to talk about. I curled a shot at him, and he leapt up and snatched it from the air. There was a round of mocking applause, and we turned and saw a group of teenagers who were next to 2 benches that were the highlight of the recreation ground. They were maybe a bit older than Pat, or maybe just wilder. A couple of girls among a group of boys. One of them was a lot bigger than the rest, built more like a man than a boy, and the shadow of his beard looked all wrong above his Ramsey Mac blazer. They leered at us, roosting on the back of the benches, with their feet where their baggy-ass trousers were meant to go. Pat rolled the ball out to me, and I drove it back at him, low and hard. He got down quickly, his body behind the ball, more applause, and I turned to look at them again. In the fading light, their cigarettes glowed like fireflies. That's William Fly, Pat said, the big one. Just ignore them, I said. Come on. Pat threw the ball out to me, and I trapped it, took another touch, and banged it back. Pat skipped across his goal mouth and hugged the ball to his midriff. No applause this time, and I looked up to see the little group had wandered off to the knackered little strip of shops that lay beyond the recreation ground. William Fly, Pat said. He nearly got expelled for putting something down the toilet. What did he put down the toilet? The physics teacher, Pat said, bouncing the ball at his feet. William Fly, he's famous. He kicked the ball back to me. No, I said, watching it coming. Winston Churchill is famous. Dickens, Beckham, David Frost, Justin Timberlake is famous. This guy is not famous. He's just a hard nut. Same thing, Pat said. Same thing when you're at school. He was on the balls of his feet, springing around the goal mouth because he saw me flicking up the ball, getting ready to unload my legendary volley. I laughed, happy to be here and happy to be alone with my son. The ball came off my instep with a crisp smack. Pat threw himself sideways, stretched at his full length, but he couldn't get to it. Then he went to get the ball while I ran around in circles in the fading light, trying to avoid what his irresponsible dog owners had left behind, my arms held aloft in triumph.